Last Tuesday I buried my husband, but the truth was even worse. Did you know he had lied to everyone for years? I was a child in that house then. I watched my mother cry and the neighbors whisper. He left us poor and quiet. My mother took a blood oath with him. He promised to come back if we needed him. We never believed the promise. Then, the night I saw my wife in our bedroom with her ex, a black car landed at the gate. She thought my father was still poor. She kissed the other man like she won. Suddenly the attic light blinked. I had to decide fast. I ran to the window and I saw him step from the car. He was not the same poor man. He was calm and very rich. I felt betrayed by everyone. Who would break a blood oath? What would my father do now? The house felt like a stage. A secret was ready to burn. My name is Omar. I was 10 when my father left. He said, I will come back. If you need me, call my name and I will return. My mother believed him. She signed a paper with him. It was like a blood oath. The paper said he would return if family needed him. After he left, our small house felt colder. My mother said, we must keep the house. It is our home and our only will. I learned words like inheritance and heirloom at night. My sister kept a small gold locket from our childhood. I kept a photograph of my father smiling at our old market stall. We were estranged from our father for years. People at the reunion guessed he was gone. They said he had no money. We heard the neighbors say, they are poor now. My mother worked and cried. She said, do not speak of divorce. Keep the family name. She feared shame. My sister hoped for a quiet custody of the house one day. I grew up fast. I cleaned the attic and learned small jobs. I carried the will in my pocket sometimes. I wanted to ask about the blood oath, but my mother never wanted the word secret in the open. She would lower her eyes and say, some promises are private. I watched my wife now. She was young and pretty. She wore silk in the day and laughed with new friends. She had a new phone and new plans. At night she would say she missed the life of the city. She said, we need more than this small house. I wanted to believe her. She said she loved our son and me. I saw her once take our son to the park and tell him, we will travel when your father comes back. That night, the first crack in my heart came when she laughed with a man by the gate. He was the ex from her old town. He liked to show money. He told jokes about my father being a joke. He called my father a failure. My wife laughed so loud. I felt a cold in my throat. I did not know then that a car would land at our gate that same night. I only knew that the word betrayed had a taste like metal in my mouth. The next day would change everything. I heard footsteps in the attic that night, but I stayed quiet, listening for the sound of a man who had promised to return. The night the black car came, our house was loud with music from the neighbor. I hid in my small room. I heard a kiss in our bedroom. My mother slept softly on the couch. My little sister was at the kitchen table doing homework. I felt my heart beat like a drum. I opened the door and saw her by the window. She held the man close. He whispered, "You will get more with me." She smiled and said, "I know." I wanted to shout, but my son's sleep sang in the next room. I felt a hard anger. The gate bell rang then. A security guard called, "Mr. Hawson has arrived." The man stepped inside. He did not look poor. He wore a dark coat and a small chain. His shoes touched the floor like a new king. My wife froze. She pushed the other man away and said, "Who is that?" The man at the gate was my father. He walked with a slow step and a calm face. He looked older. He had no scar on his hand now. He smiled and said, "I am home." My wife turned white. The ex-man ran from the room. My father laughed softly. He told the guard to bring a box from his car. He opened the box and took out papers and a large check. Neighbors came to the gate to see. My wife cried, but not for joy. She cried because her plan fell apart. She had been ready to leave us for the ex. Now everyone would know she chose him. At that moment, my father placed a hand on the small table and said, "This house is under my name again. The will is clear." He showed a paper that said he left his wealth to his family. People in the street began to whisper. The man who kissed my wife shouted, "She is mine." My father answered quietly, "You are wrong." He told the whole street about the oath. He said he had never truly left. He had hidden his money. He said he watched and waited. My mother fell to her knees and begged. My wife tried to act sweet in front of the crowd. The neighbors started to clap like they had seen a play. I felt like the house held a stage full of faces. My son woke up and saw the men arguing. He asked, "Is this a show?" My sister covered her ears. The ex-man wanted the money and wanted to hurt my father. He screamed, "You lied." My father turned his face and said, "I promised I would return. I kept my word, and I own this place now." The crowd went quiet. My wife looked at me with new fear. She whispered, "Omar, help me." I remembered the blood oath. I remembered the piece of paper my mother kept hidden in the attic. But then my father said the word that cut me deep, "Who broke their oath first?" The neighbors looked at my wife. A neighbor pointed and asked, "Did she sign to leave?" The house felt small and hot. I held the photograph in my hand and the paper in my pocket, and I asked myself, who had betrayed who? A footstep came down the hall and the door of my heart closed tight. I remember the night before the arrival. My wife had said, "I will take what I can." She told the ex about the house and the attic key. She said, "He will never return. Take the key and wait, we leave next month." I kept the attic ladder in my room. My hand shook as I climbed the ladder that night to find proof. I found a small envelope. Inside was a note in my father's handwriting. It said, "If I return, forgive me. If I do not return, keep the house." The note was not a full will. It was only a promise. I also found a second paper. It was a false signature with my wife's name on it. The signature said she agreed to sell the house. I stared at it until the paper blurred. She had forged my mother's sign. She planned to sell the house with the ex. The blood oath had one rule: never forge a signature on family papers. My heart felt heavy. I ran down and waited for my father at the gate. When he came in, I put the paper on the table and said, "She signed this." My father looked at the paper with a soft face. He said, "I see." Then he told me something that changed everything. He said, "I left to protect you. I made new friends and new power. I saw everything from far away. I wanted to test who loved the family. I wanted one true person to stand. I did not tell you. I am sorry." My words rushed out. "You left us. We were hungry. She tried to leave us too. She lied." My father sat and put his head in his hands. He told us about the bank, about the company he bought, about the will he would make. He said, "I took an oath to return for my family. I also kept a secret test. If the family sold the house, I would cut them off." My heart burned with anger and with a strange pride. I saw my wife look down. She said, "I was afraid." The ex-man promised me comfort. I thought he would give me a better life. My father stood and surprised us all. He did not shout. He asked the neighbors to leave the court to him in the morning. He said, "We will decide fairly." He then said something that I did not expect. He told my wife, "You broke the trust when you forged your name." A blood oath is not only about leaving. It is about truth. My wife fell on the floor and cried. She begged and said, "I can change. I will return the money. I will ask for forgiveness." My father's face was like a stone but sad. He turned to me and quietly said, "Omar, you must choose. Keep the family or let the house go. You are grown now." My heart wanted revenge. I remembered nights we ate little. I imagined the ex-man with my wife's hand and my son leaving. I felt the house close like a trap on my chest. I could take my father's money and throw her out. or I could forgive and keep family. The blood oath had been broken by a false signature. Who deserved to be cut off? Outside, the city light blinked like judgment. I looked at my son sleeping and I knew I must make a choice. A car horn sounded from the street and my sister whispered, "Choose fast." The reveal came in the morning. My father called everyone to the small living room. He read the real will. He had made a new will years ago. It said the house would stay with the child, not a spouse who wanted to sell. He had planned for a test. He said, "I wanted to see truth. I did not want the family torn by false promises." My wife sank and told the truth. She said, "I signed the paper. I was weak. I wanted a safe life for our son." Then my father surprised us. He did not punish her with money. He punished the idea of betrayal. He asked her to work in the house and to prove care for 2 years. He said, "Trust must be rebuilt like a home. It takes time and work." I chose to protect my son and our home. I forgave her in small steps. I watched her clean the heirloom drawer, restore the old photo frames, and sit with my mother at night. The ex-man left town. The neighbors stopped whispering and slowly helped us again. The blood oath was broken, but the family could mend. I learned a hard lesson: the truth will come out, always. Wealth is a test and power can make pain worse. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is a choice that keeps children safe and homes whole. Years later, when the attic smelled of old paper and tea, my son found the old locket and asked, "Why did you forgive?" I said, "Because a house is more than money. It is where we learn to be honest." The house healed slowly. The lesson stayed with me: never let shame decide for you, and never hide a promise from the child who will carry your name.